to get my voice here. I thought our guys did a good job once we kind of dug ourselves a hole, and you got to give Kentucky a ton of credit to come out like they did, knowing that they were down bodies. And I think Coach Pope's done a really good job kind of galvanizing that crew, having them ready to go. You know, I mean, you look at some guys that weren't in the rotation earlier, like Colin Chandler. Shoot, I mean, he has +7 when he's in the game tonight. Thought he played great. He hit the big three late. I mean, Noah's had big games. You know, they've had multiple guys. Travis Perry steps up, scores double digits for him, you know, and he wasn't playing that heavy before. So they've had guys step up, play well. You know, Carr, we kind of chose not to guard him, which, you know, we were supposed to guard him when he had the ball, just help off a lot more, and he ends up burning us for 3-3. So, you know, for him to have 17, I thought was pretty good too. So I give them a bunch of credit, but thought our guys, you know, didn't really panic. We get down 12, we just stick with it. You know, we started getting stops. You know, our defensive efficiency numbers after that first 4 minutes, you know, after the first 4-minute media timeout, the next 16 minutes of the first half, we held them to a .8, and we scored 24 points on the next 30 possessions. So the defense from that point on was where we needed it to be. Now, why we're not starting better, you know, I got to go look at the video again. I thought we'd have a little bit better start, you know, where we still have turnover issues. We had 15 turnovers, only 14 assists. So, you know, part of putting LeBaron in the starting lineup was allowing Mark to get off the ball a little bit more like he'd done with Estrada last year. I thought it's worked for Mark. I mean, he's back-to-back 30-point games for the first time in his career, and it's been pretty efficient too. So I think that made sense. We just need LeBaron to stop turning it over as much as he is. And, you know, I thought Holloway, you know, pairing him a little bit more with Sears too, letting him create a little bit, even though he didn't have an assist. I thought, you know, he ended up scoring 19 off the bench. Thought he's been good. So, you know, Sears is playing the best basketball I've seen him play since he's been here on both sides of the ball. You know, the one play with the bad turnover there late, trying to get Cliff a lob, which not the smartest play. He apologized as soon as he came to the bench. He felt bad. But I think he knew Cliff was, you know, 1 point shy of a double-double. He had played so hard. He rebounded it. He was trying to get him a bucket. Then he turns around, gets a steal, comes back, gets the three. I think his defensive effort's been pretty good, best it's been. And then I think offensively he's been really efficient. So proud of the effort. Got to clean up the turnovers. Got to still clean up the defense a little bit, but it was significantly better in the Missouri game.
Yeah, you made like 8 subs in the first 6 minutes. What was your thought process between that and then also are you trying to send a message to your team in any way that, you know, nobody's minutes are – they can't take your minutes?
It was more zero tolerance for effort, and it wasn't so much an effort thing, but I basically said there's going to be zero tolerance for effort. Scouting report screw-ups, that's a bigger thing. Like, we put scouting report in, it needs to be fouled and need to be locked in and focus on the right thing, and then just dumb turnovers. Like, we got to stop turning the ball over. So I don't know that it worked, but that's the way it's going to be moving forward. Like, I'm tired of the guys not being locked into a scouting report, and it hasn't been we don't have. I mean, if you grade our effort levels, you know, 1 through 10, it's not like we've got anybody giving a 4, 5, 6, but there's like levels to this thing, and we can't be giving an 8 or a 9. We need a 10. So you know, we just got to challenge the guys, and I thought they responded well, and we kind of settled in there after we got down 12, and it was a little bit better after that.
Hey, Nate, I don't know exactly what it was, but when I looked up, it was 9:35 go in the first half. They have 30. They end the first half of 40. As good a stretch as you've seen defensively from your guys this year?
Yeah, you know, they scored 16 in the first 4 minutes. So they end up with 24 over the next 16 on 30 possessions was a .8. Like I'm looking from the 16 to 12 was a .57, from the 8 to 4 was a .4, and then we closed it with a .86. So there was one in the middle of those that was just a little suspect, but those 3 out of those next 4, kind of 4-minute wars, if you will, was as good as we've seen. And this is a good offensive team. I mean, even with all the injuries and everything, I mean, Brea is one of the best shooters in the country. Carr's obviously really good. Amari Williams just had a triple-double not that long ago. You know, they're good. So they got the 5th rated offense in the country. So to do that for 16 minutes or 12 of those 16, that was as good as we've seen. And that's really what I want us focused on moving forward. Just get locked into the scouting report and play as hard as you can possibly play. Don't turn the ball over on offense and let everything else fall where it goes. Making shots, missing shots, I'm not worried about it. I'm worried about scouting report. Are you locked in mentally? Are you giving us max effort? And an 8 out of 10 ain't enough. It needs to be a 10 out of 10. And are you taking care of the ball on offense? Those 3 things, I probably need to add in offensive rebounding because I think we only got 1 in the second half. But we need Mo Diabate to be a little bit more locked into scouting report stuff so we can play him more because he's a monster on the glass. And hopefully we'll get him tuned in for the Mississippi State one. We're going to need him a lot more in that game. But Cliff, highest, most rebounds Cliff's had since he's been here. I mean, he had 15 rebounds and he had the best defensive leverage on the team. We were 45 points per 100 possessions, better with him on the floor on the defensive end than we were when he was off the floor. So, I thought it was a great game out of Cliff tonight.
Yeah, Coach, you passed Wimp Sanderson for the most wins over top 25 teams in program history. Just what does that mean to you to reach that accomplishment in year 6?
I mean, honestly, I mean, Wimp did a really good job here. I'm guessing that the SEC is a lot better now, so there's a lot more opportunities to get top 25 wins than he probably had. And when they give you the opportunity, you take advantage of them and try to get it done. We don't have enough because we had a chance to get 2 more in the last 2 games before this, and we didn't come up with them. But, I think it does speak to the level of the SEC as a whole that now we've got all these opportunities. I mean, every team we play, the rest of the year is a top 25 team. So I'm guessing Wimp didn't have that many opportunities like we have, but you also got to go win them. So, a lot of credit to our guys we've had here. Herb's in the building today getting rehab on his shoulder. I mean, Herb got this thing going for us, and then you get, Shackelford and Quinterly and go down the list, Brandon Miller, Clowney, just a lot of players that stepped up in big-time games throughout the years, and now a lot of opportunities to get top 25 wins. So combination of the two, it's a good time for basketball in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, you talked about Marcus probably playing the best basketball you've seen from him in his time here. What do you think, is a switch flipped for him, or what do you think is behind that mentally?
I think he just wants to win. I think he came back to try to win a national championship, came back to try to play his way into the NBA. Winning solves a lot of that stuff, and I think he's not worried about, if you look, he's not really forcing it, pressing it. He got stuck in the lane where, like in the past, I think he would have thrown up a bad shot. He kicks it out. I think Holloway, hit a 3 off, if I remember correctly. We got a good shot off the possession. He's trying to play the right way. He's as coachable as he's ever been, and his effort on defense has been through the roof really the last 3-4 weeks or so. So I just a combination of let's get him to lead, let's play the right way on both sides of the ball, give us total effort on defense, and I think he's been doing that. And I'm super happy with the way he's been playing.
One of the things that you've mentioned about Mark lately is making better decisions at the rim. It seemed like he was really on point with that tonight, and seems against Kentucky that's usually not easy because they got a lot of size in the front court always. What your thoughts on that part of it?
Yeah, I'm looking like he was 5 of 7 at the rim with with some shot blockers in there. So I tell the guys, take the ones you should take and make them. Like, if you're getting your shot blocked, they probably aren't good shots, and he got his shot blocked once tonight, but that's, as aggressive as he is, he gets to the line 11 times. I'll take that. We just can't have him getting a shot blocked 3-4 times because he's making the wrong reads. I thought he made a lot of really good reads. Now, we need some other guys to knock some shots down, get him a few more assists. And we need to stop turning the ball over. He wasn't so bad today, but some other guys, we got more opportunities to get assists and offense. But, yeah, I mean, he's been good. I mean, he didn't even shoot it great from three. This isn't, 3 of 8's okay for him. But to get 30 points on 17 shot attempts is some pretty elite stuff. And then you go back, he had 35 on 20 shot attempts at Mizzou. Like, you look at some other guys in our league to score that amount of points. They're taking a lot more shots than what he's taking. So, when we inserted LeBaron in the starting lineup, and I just told him we needed you to trust him like you did Aaron last year. You're going to score. I told him you're going to score more points on fewer shots. So, I think 17's the same that he got against Auburn 2 games ago. His output on these 17 shots was better than it was against Auburn. So, he's scoring more points on the same amount of shots, at least the Auburn. So, he's playing well. His efficiency on offense, his effort on defense. I mean, I'm looking at defensive leverage. He had a positive defensive leverage, which that hasn't always been the case. We were 18 points better, for 100 possessions with him on the floor than when he was off on defense today, and that's great for him.
Hey, Coach, Grant Nelson sat out for the last 10 minutes of the first half, and his 15 minutes tonight matched a season low against UNC Asheville. Can you explain the reason behind that?
Who?
Grant Nelson.
Yeah, he was in foul trouble. I mean,
At that point, I don't think he was.
yeah, he had 2 fouls.
He had 2 fouls at that point?
Yeah, he was in foul trouble, and then he picked up a 3rd one early in the second half, and then he picked up a 4th one as soon as he got in after the 3rd one. And then, I'm not a 2-foul guy, sit the whole half, but we were on a run. We were building the lead. I didn't think there was any need, and he picks up some dumb ones sometimes, just for whatever reason. So I didn't think there was a need to get him back in with 2 fouls in the first half when the other guys were playing pretty well.
Yeah, Nate, you've been talking a lot about seeing guys step up and against another team's best player. Just how big was that for you tonight to see them defend Owe and take him out of the game?
Yeah, that's the first time he hasn't scored in double digits the entire year. He was the only player in SEC, I believe, coming into this game that had scored in double digits every single game. Obviously, the foul trouble helped us, but, even if he hadn't fouled out, he was 1 of 9 on, in 22 minutes. So even if he plays 30 minutes, he only had 2 points. So I thought we did a pretty good job. I think we've got enough versatility on defense that if our guys will get locked into the scouting report and play with max effort, we should be a significantly better defensive team than what we've shown in the past, because you've got Jaron Stevenson at 6'10" that can move, that can chase shooters, that can make shooters shoot over him. You got Diabate that's strong as can be, that can move and switch and guard 1 through 5. Youngblood's veteran guy that's super strong, that's not going to get screened, that can guard strong guys like Owe. We've got defensive versatility that I've got to do a better job. This is on me, our defense. I haven't held them accountable enough on the defensive end, and that's why Tony saw 8 subs in the first 6 minutes. So we're going to do a better job holding them accountable on that end of the floor.
How important was it for you to see the response from the guys after the start to make sure that a 2-game slide didn't turn into kind of a spiral to end the season?
Yeah, I was really amped up at the beginning of the game because we needed a better start. It didn't happen. So I didn't want to panic. I thought, there was times when our defensive effort was really good. You can't turn the ball over on offense. Like you put your defense at a disadvantage. So I just tried to stay calm. All right, that's what we need on defense. Stop turning it over. We'll get it. And they just hung in there. And look, I must say, Sears' leadership in huddles is the best it's ever been. His leadership on the floor. It's great to have Chris Youngblood there. Grant. We've got 4 fifth-year guys. This is the best Cliff's played all year. Sears is playing his best basketball of the year. Chris Youngblood, this was as good as he's played. I mean, obviously that Mississippi State one when he hit all threes was huge. But, and you got to give Grant a little bit of a pass because of the foul trouble tonight. But those 4 guys, I think, are determined to change the narrative about this team on the defensive end, and I liked what I saw after the first 4 minutes. I got to go look at the video on those first 4 minutes, to be honest with you. I don't really know why it was as bad as it was. I know there was a couple of the plays I remember, but we got to be better to start games. But they hung in there, talked about the right stuff, and when they had chances at the timeouts, and we did get better.
Coach, I always thought it was impressive the way you just have to grasp all the numbers. After every game, are there certain analytical categories that you look at more than others?
I mean, I like to look at the leverage numbers. Like, are we better with you on the floor on the defensive end than when you're off? Are we better with you on the floor on the offensive end than when you're off? You know, it's a little bit, obviously there's some luck involved. Guy hits a bang 3 when you're on the floor, and it had nothing to do with you, so it's not end all be all, but I do like to see, I tell the guys, we get enough data through the course of the year, practice data, game data, all it, like by this point of the season, the stats that we have is not luck based on small sample sizes. It's, we're either better with you on the floor on the defensive end, or we're worse with you on the floor on the defensive end. And if we're worse, we've got all the data to show why. Like, is our team defensive rebounding leverage not good? Is our, like, whatever it is, we can show you. And that's the thing when we recruit guys, I want to tell them, like, I'm not going to promise you any amount of minutes. What I will promise you is you're going to get a fair shake. And if you're not playing as much as you want to play, you're going to know exactly why. We're going to sit you down and show you, and we got plenty of stats to show guys why. So, that's, there's, depending on the game and what we emphasize going into it, would probably send me to, offensive rebounding percentage. We wasn't the top 2 or 3 things we stressed this game, but it's one we've got to get better at, and we weren't very good. We were 27% on our offensive rebounding percentage, so we're trying to have that at 40% plus, and we've been at 50% or above on some of the best rebounding teams in the country. So to only have it at 27%, and nothing against Kentucky, they've got some really good bigs, but I felt like we could take advantage of our guards going in there getting some tough rebounding. We didn't, so that'll be one thing we address in our cleanups. The turnover percentage was way too high at 19%. That needs to be down under 15, closer to 10. So the turnovers was a big thing, and then the defensive execution. The amount of threes we wanted Kentucky to get up. Carr hit 3 of their 9, so that's a little bit on the scouting report. The fact that Brea got 10 ups is an issue, because he wasn't supposed to get any up. Obviously that's hard to do. He's that good, but so when I go back through and look at the video, like, how did he get his 10 threes up? What can we fix from that?
You've mentioned just the gauntlet that you guys have to face the rest of the season, how difficult it is. How important was it to have a performance like this here tonight to give you guys confidence the rest of the way for this schedule?
I mean, this was, without calling it a must-win, I mean, we you can't drop 3 in a row with the next, we got 4 left now. Is that what it is? Yeah, we got Mississippi State at home, at Tennessee, Florida at home, Auburn on the road. What are the rankings? Florida's second in the country, is that right? Yeah, so we've got Mississippi State that's top 25. Then we go to Tennessee that's 6th, is that right? Florida at home that's 2nd. Then we got to go to number 1. So 3 of our last 3 are top 6, 1, 2, and 6. I don't know if anybody's played 1, 2, and 6 in a 3-game stretch anywhere in the country this year, let alone to close the year out. But, we needed this one tonight, and we're not going to focus on Tennessee until we get through Mississippi State, and then we're not going to focus on Florida until we're through with Tennessee, and we just got to take them one at a time. And the good thing with playing a schedule like this is you're not going to play 3 games in a row like that until you get to Elite 8, Final Four, championship game, if we're fortunate enough to get that far. So we're literally playing 3 teams that are going to be 1 or 2 seeds back to back to back, and Mississippi State's playing for a good seed in the NCAA tournament too. So this will be, outside of maybe the SEC tournament, we're not going to see 3 teams like this until maybe an Elite Eight, Final Four run if we're fortunate enough to get there. So at least we'll have some experience playing very good teams back to back to back. Thank you, Coach. All right, appreciate it.